Have you ever had your nose hairs like just pulled out of your nose, like by form of wax?
Wax? No. Somebody else's hand? Yes.
Okay, because I was at the barbershop before I came here, and then about halfway through my cut, I just noticed, I look over, I just see some guy with their head back, and the barber is putting wax in his nose, or whatever, the hot wax, whatever, into his nose, just letting it sit. And I'm like, oh, that's going to hurt like a mofo. And my barber's dying laughing. And, yeah, like literally 2-3 minutes later, just pull it. The guy has no reaction. So I don't know if he was just holding it in because he doesn't want to scream like a little girl.
You got to hold your breath, and you're going to shed a tear. It's going to be one of those that just comes down the side of your eye. Like,
you know what's the funny thing is, after he got both pulled out of his nose, he just sat there with his head back for like 10 seconds. He was like, ow. Whoo. Like, he was just like, whoo.
It's a delayed ow. So like, have you ever plucked an eyebrow or anything like that?
I mean, but I mean, those are less hair or less pain.
But have you ever plucked it like right above your eyeball, like right in this area? Mm-mm. Those hurt really bad.
I mean, it's a sensitive area.
It is, and I have a girlfriend who loves to pluck, and it hurts. And when she gets to that point, my eyes are definitely welling up a little bit because it is not comfortable. I have nicer eyebrows, so I thank her for that, but it's not a comfortable experience. So I can't imagine what that guy...
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, you couldn't pay me to do it, especially in public. Like,
I don't keep some of your nose hairs. You know, they have a purpose.
I mean, I don't know, but
I trim them. I trim mine.
I don't have my hair. My hairs don't get that long. Like, my nose hairs, I mean, this is definitely a little way off topic for Dimes on Duval, but...
Who cares?
But, like, I never had that need to do that. I know some people have some big nostrils, and they have some big hairs.
Mine grow down. So, like, I don't want them poking out of my nose. Yeah. So I just trim those little ones.
And I'm sure those are a little sensitive, too.
Yeah. The trimmer I have is nice, so it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. But no, I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt.
Yeah, no. Don't want to do that. I'm good. Episode 73, Dimes on Duval. Mike Yaji alongside me, of course, Keith Manzi. No Skylar Chase again tonight. Just keep him in your thoughts. We wish he could be with us tonight, but he has some things going on. So we wish him the best, and hopefully he'll be back with us soon. So before I get into my spiel, I've got some words to say about the Jaguars and the Noles. We got to go around the league.
Around the state.
Around the state. Oh, man, I said around the league. Oh, well. Around the Sunshine State, some scores for you for the college teams, starting with UCF.
UCF did have a bye week this past week, so they were just relaxing. They do have a game, ironically, tomorrow night, Wednesday, October 5th, against SMU.
Speaking of bye weeks, Miami also had a bye week, much needed after that tough game against Middle Tennessee. Tyler Van Dyke has been named the starter, though, against North Carolina coming up this weekend. Just wanted to get that out there for those poor Canes fans. I'm looking at you, Kevin Hodges. Bethune-Cookman, the Wildcats lose a close one to Alabama A&M 35-27. Tough loss for them. They actually, earlier in the year, got destroyed by Miami 70-13.
That's shocking. But speaking of Alabama A&M, who Florida A&M did beat a few weeks ago. Florida A&M did have a game this past Saturday, and they took care of business against Mississippi Valley. If I had to guess the name, I'm not sure. It says MS Valley. I don't know.
Yeah, Mississippi Valley.
Yeah, 34-7.
Another win for the Sunshine State is FIU. The Panthers beat New Mexico State, arguably one of the worst teams in the league, 21-7.
In the country.
What did I say?
In the league.
Yeah, well, I'm stuck on league for some reason.
Yep, and then we go to Little West. Well, they played in the South. They played in South Florida. The USF Bulls, the South Florida Bulls, they usually play in Tampa, but due to the hurricane, they had to move. They lost to East Carolina 48-28 this past Saturday.
FAU falls to 2-4 after losing to the North Texas Mean Green 45-28. Only scored 7 points in the second half, and North Texas ran away with that one. And that's all you have, right?
That's all I had, yeah.
Last but not least, Ed Waters gets their first win of the season. 1-4, beating the Morehouse College. I don't know what they are. 49-20 is the final in that one. A good scoring game for them. So they are now 1-4 and first win in the conference. So that is around the Sunshine State.
Oh, we have one more. The UF Gators took care of business against whoever. Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington. Okay, you know what? Actually, I got a little game for you, Mike.
Oh, Lord.
You want to play?
Sure. Do I have another option?
No, you don't have an option. Eastern Washington alumni.
Oh, God.
I have 4 names here. I think you'll get at least 2. I will give you a hint for each of these graduates. These are all pretty big name people. The last one's kind of a hit or miss. I don't think you'll get that one. But the first one actually played football Monday night.
Monday night?
Yes, the Monday night game was the Rams versus the 49ers. He is on the Rams.
Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp is an Eastern Washington graduate.
He helped me get my fantasy matchup on
They
Sunday,
said that on the broadcast,
on
too, which I thought was pretty cool.
Wait, what?
They said that he went to EW.
Oh.
Yeah. Next one is our favorite shark hugger.
No.
Yeah.
McElwain?
Jim McElwain is an EWU graduate. This next one, see, you already got 2. So 2 of 4.
Not bad.
Yeah. This next one is on TV. He is a what do you call it? He has a show. He's had radio shows. He does TV. Mostly, it's all sports.
What network?
Fox.
Is it Nick Wright?
Nope.
Is it Jason something? I don't know.
More popular than that. This guy is kind of known for some of his kind of
Skip
not
Bayless?
so great takes. You're on the right track. It's not him. This guy. Ooh, how else do I describe
What
it?
sport does he mainly cover? All of them?
All of them, yeah. All right, this one will give it away, but I'm going to say it anyway. His TV show, he basically sits on a throne. He is higher than his guests, and it looks really awkward because his desk is like humongous. And then like his guest sits like 20 feet away.
Oh, Colin Cowherd.
Colin Cowherd. This last one, and I don't think you'll get it. He's a point guard. He played for the Pacers. He played for
Darren Collison.
The Pistons. I don't know who else he played for. Let me look it up while you try and guess. I don't think you're going to get it. He's older. He's not in the league anymore.
Was he in the 90s or in 2000? Like our era?
2000s.
2000s.
He's 36 years old. Oh, cool. I was right. He played 7 seasons for the Pistons and 3 for the Pacers.
So he started with the Pistons.
Yes. He was a 15th overall pick in the 2007 NBA draft. He wore number 3 and 2. All rookie second team. That's really
What
it.
university did he go to?
He went to Eastern Washington. That's the whole point of the game.
Duh. Pistons and Pacers. I got nothing.
I don't think you're going to get it.
I got nothing.
Rodney Stuckey.
Yeah, I would have never guessed Rodney
Old
Stuckey.
name. And I don't
That
think any of you listen.
That big forehead of his.
I don't think any of you listeners got that one either. I just thought that was a fun little way to start. So after the fun and games is over, now we got to get a little serious. Mike, is it okay if I have the floor for a minute here?
Go ahead.
I want to sit back and compare the Florida State Seminoles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Friend of the program, Big Brother Scott, and I were briefing on this during the FSU game as we were losing that game, talking about how this week or this past weekend's slate of games were big games for both teams. Wake Forest being a ranked team and putting up a hell of a fight against Clemson. And the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, arguably one of the best teams in the league. Not so much saying it was a trap game, but it was definitely one of those games where you're like, I'm seeing some more of this team in a negative light than in a positive light. We've been very high on both of these teams as up till now. Granted, this was Florida State's first loss It was the Jaguars' second loss, sure. But the past 2 weeks were just big signs of positivity that these losses both hurt very bad. Both losses showed weaknesses that we knew and we didn't know. The one we knew was the run defense for both teams. Brutal, especially the Jaguars. Up right in the middle is just god-awful. And we saw other issues, such as in the Jaguars game,
Trevor Lawrence
fumbling the ball. In the Florida State game, we don't have a freaking kicker.
Well,
Granted, we kind of knew that.
Yeah.
But it really showed when we wouldn't even send him back out there. Granted, yes, we did.
His confidence was shot.
His confidence was shot, and it was really tough. It hurts to know that we're not quite there yet for both teams.
Now, I have a rebuttal to that. Go ahead.
Okay. Florida State, we weren't sitting here saying this was going to be a cakewalk. Same with Jacksonville against Philadelphia. But we all had confidence. There was that sense of like, yeah, things are starting to roll. We might actually go in there and win these big games. And we lost both of them. Does it mean that the world is falling apart? Absolutely not. But it just grounds you a little. We knew Florida State wasn't going to go undefeated this season. We knew Jacksonville wasn't going to win every game this season. Looking back, though, preseason, if you told me right now, hey, Keith, it's October 4th, and Florida State is 4-1 and Jacksonville is 2-2, you cool with that? Absolutely. I'm overjoyed with that. So if you're listening out there and you're a Jaguars fan, a Noles fan, both fans, this isn't the end of the world. There are mistakes that need to be fixed. There are gaps that need to be filled. But relax. RELAX.
Oh, God, no.
So that was my spiel. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Don't overreact, Jags fans. We are prone to doing that. I mean, we did it week 1.
We did it after week 3.
Yeah.
People were talking about, like, Super Bowl, like, relax.
And that's the thing. Yeah, we both ends of the spectrum. There are games we can just win, and there are games that we're going to lose. Don't sit here and predict the Super Bowl or predict the first overall pick. Don't go to those extremes.
So, just to comment on what you're saying about, like, Jags fans need to relax. Like, Jags fans were hyped after being up 14-0. It's kind of hard to blame everyone. I
absolutely
couldn't see most of the game this past Sunday due to family situation, but there was a group chat I'm in, and they were talking about, all right, so when are we buying our Super Bowl tickets? Which I thought was, okay, come on. It's 14-0 against arguably the best team in the league. Fine. Whatever. But before the game, I said one game at a time, which is exactly why I also predicted the Eagles to win 27-20. Now, score prediction almost came to be true, but Eagles did win the game. That's because of the better team. And no one expected, like, we all expected the Jaguars to be better than they were last year. Because we have an adult as a coach. We have an adult, a quarterback, not trying to run the team as well.
Did you happen to hear there was a reporter, I will name him in just a moment, that asked Peterson in a press conference if he thought about benching Trevor? Did you hear about that?
No.
D-Rock.
I mean, dude, after 4 turnovers, kind of... But the thing is, okay...
You just for the record, if you guys didn't hear it, Peterson's response was a resounding hell no, which I'm cool with it. What is Beathard going to bring in that Trevor isn't, you know?
The Jaguars were down the whole game after... I mean, they were up 14-0, then they blew the lead. Fine. But I said this a few weeks ago, maybe in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, or maybe after the Commanders lost.
Yeah.
They're going to be in every game.
It was after the Commanders lost, yeah.
The Jaguars were -5 in the turnover differential. I'm sorry, -4 in the turnover differential. They got a turnover on Hurts. Trevor gave the ball 5 times to the Eagles. So, you would think it's a 40-10 game, right? In previous years, it would have been.
Last year, it would have, yeah.
They lost by 8 to arguably the best team in the NFL and arguably the NFC favorite to be in the Super Bowl. Granted, still a lot of football to be played, but don't panic on Trevor Lawrence. He had a bad game. He had his best career game a week ago against the Chargers. Worst game against the Eagles. Sure, that's not what you want to see from your quarterback. But then again, think about it. This is technically his rookie year. And I mean, people are like, no, it's his second year. Yeah, you try running an offense with a dipshit as head coach.
Right. I mean, he turned the ball over 5 times. First player to lose 4 fumbles in a game since '79.
Yeah, it's not normal what he did.
Receivers drop passes too. And again, it
the
was
weather,
pouring.
The
it
weather
was disgusting.
Was a problem.
But you can't blame it all on that because Philadelphia still figured it out.
Exactly. Philadelphia didn't turn the ball over as much as we did.
You know what we didn't do?
Run the ball.
Run the fucking football.
Well, Doug Peterson... Doug, ever since his Philly days, he's been the pass-first guy. I'm not worried about that. They may have seen something. Philly's defense is also incredible. We are also ignoring that fact. Philly's defense is one of the best in the league.
Agreed. But, I mean, early in the game, you saw ETN run for 11 yards. You didn't see, but ETN had a nice 11-yard run. James Robinson had a nice 9-yard run. They had a couple good runs. 8 carries apiece. 4th lowest in James Robinson's career. Because last year,
Yeah, bench for one fumble,
but that was Robinson dropped the football.
Yeah. So I'm not really worried about this performance. I'm throwing this out the window. The Jags will be in every game till the very end. They're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. The defense is good. The offense still has some kinks in it. As much as we were in love with the offense the last 2 weeks, with Trevor and Christian Kirk and Zay Jones and Evan Ingram and James Robinson, all that.
Well, I will say one thing, though. We are in a lot of trouble if Fadokasi's injury is bigger.
We have no D-line depth.
No, we don't.
Same with the Knowles,
which
I'm going to touch on in a second.
Gotts has played way too many snaps. He was exhausted. You could tell. They need to get... who was the guy? He worked out for the Commanders, but he didn't... I don't remember his name, but there are people out there. We just need to sign a beefcake.
So we need to load up on the defensive line. I don't know if we will, but that's besides the point. Now, shift your focus to the Texans and beat their ass. They cannot be in a close game with the Texans, or we got problems. Now, switching back to college football real quick. The Knowles. The Knowles came out hot, 7-0.
Yes.
Then they just stopped. They didn't care.
That first drive was articulate. It was beautiful.
Scripted offense, fine. But what happened after? Don't get it. They disappeared. They didn't look like they wanted to be out there. Not sure what happened in that week of practice. Norvell's on record for saying he wasn't a fan of the practice that week, which was a sign of not liking what's going to happen on Saturday. Jared Verse needs to be 100% healthy for this team to be anything good.
Every time he was on the field, it was an impact. You could see it.
The defensive line had no pressure other than Jared Verse. The secondary was a weakness, and I predicted that A.T. Perry would be a problem. I was kind of right. The biggest problem was the run defense, which...
Up the gut.
Just
like Philadelphia.
Which backtracked to Philadelphia. Miles Sanders had a day, but then again, that's because of the lack of depth on the defensive line. Both the Knowles and the Jags have run defense problems. And it's bad when Devin Lloyd and Oluokun have a combined 29 tackles for the Jags.
Yeah.
The Knowles linebacking core got beat up. They got ran all over. Like, the running back for Wake Forest had...
114 yards for Justice
Ellison looked like he wanted to be out there more than the Knowles defense did, and it showed.
Yeah. So 51 rushing attempts for Wake Forest. 171 yards.
Yeah, that's not good. So
Eagles had 50 rushes for 200.
So yeah, we're bouncing back and forth between the Jags and the Knowles in this chat
because it's the comparison.
It's the same thing.
It's the same issue.
Now, luckily, the Jags had a kicker. The Knowles didn't. If they had a kicker, it'd be a little different story. We could have kept it close after the first half. But that's the point. So look, going forward, the Knowles to go for everything past the 50-yard line. Go for on 4th down. There's no point in kicking it. Because that kicker, he is seeing ghosts, and it is bad.
It is.
Kind of feel bad for the kid. He's young. He's 20 years old, 19 years old, whatever, however old he is. He's a young kid. He is not good.
No.
So...
And we went for it one time on 4th down. We did convert, but Wake Forest converted all 3 of their 4th down attempts.
And one thing I'm going to note real quick, just jumping back to the Jags game. I know it's back and forth, and it's going to throw people off.
It's going to be all right. We got it. You're specifying.
The Jags and the Eagles' time of possession was ridiculous. 20 minutes for the Jags to almost 40 for the Eagles.
Jeez.
When you're holding the ball for 2/3 of the game, that shows your defense out there a lot. And again, that is definitely tied to Trevor and his 5 turnovers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at the final drive. You see how hype we are. We get the ball back. Trevor, you can see him. He jumps off the bench. He throws on his helmet. He's like, let's go out there and do something. And he gets pummeled.
Everyone's waiting for that one drive where Trevor leads the team down and gets a game-winning or game-tying drive under his belt.
He needs to do it. He needs to do it soon because I'm tired of the annoying people that are like already speculating.
That's what everyone's waiting for. Everyone's waiting for that one drive. Yeah. Because every quarterback has it. Gardner Minshew had multiple. Tim Tebow, I hate to say it, he had some.
Oh, shut up. All right.
I'm just saying. Everyone's had it. Blake Bortles had some. Every quarterback has had it. Even Gabbard had one or two. Yeah. People are going to say they want that drive. They want that killer mentality in a quarterback. So hopefully Trevor will have that here pretty soon. And hopefully it does not come against the Houston Texans.
Last note I have for Florida State. This is actually separate from the Jaguars. This isn't a comparison this time.
The schedule does not get easier.
Well, okay. 2 things I have to say for Florida State. First one, 11 penalties.
Yeah, they were undisciplined.
Bad penalties. Just undisciplined, look completely out of sorts. It was not the style of play that I want to see. And Travis didn't look comfortable until late in the game. He seemed like he was throwing a lot of passes off balance. And it wasn't bad. Florida State needs to worry about NC State and their trick plays. They are big on trick plays, and our secondary is booty, as we know. I'm worried.
Yeah, I'm not expecting, just being transparent, I don't expect the Noles to win the next 2 games. Other than to lose both to NC State and lose to Clemson. Just get to 7 wins, Mike Norvell. 7-8 wins, you're safe. I know you don't want to go 0-3, but man, if you beat you beat the Hurricanes and the Gators, you are good with me this year.
I agree. I feel that. On the other end with the Jags, 3-1 the next 4 games.
They got the Texans.
I got it right here.
Texans, Colts, Giants, and Broncos. Correct.
Yep. Are you okay with 3-1, or do you expect 4-0?
Sure, I expect 2-2, but I'll take 3-1.
Texans are our kryptonite. Haven't beaten
we have
them
not
since
beaten
2017, I think.
Yeah, 2017, and before that, 2013, I think.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It's been a minute. Colts, we know we can beat them. We already did. Giants, they got Saquon Barkley.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They got the best running back in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm. And then the Broncos, I expect to beat the crap out of them just because it's the Broncos and it's in London. Maybe, I don't know. I'd say London like we're supposed to be good, but we had this argument last year. They're very average.
Yeah, the Jags have not beaten the Texans since 2017 when they swept them both games, and then before that, 2013 when they also swept them.
Speaking of 2017,
so we've only beaten them 4 times since January of 2011.
That's bad.
Yeah. So
speaking of 2017. Happen to remember our record that season starting off the first 4 games?
First 4 games. 2017.
Think about it. Don't think too hard.
2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
Beat the Texans 29-7.
That was week 1. That was Saxonville, the birth of Saxonville.
Lost to the Titans 37-16.
Eesh.
Beat the crap out of the Ravens 44-7.
London game.
And lost to the Jets 23-20. So 2-2, 2017. 2-2, 2022. No real correlation, but just wanted to throw that out there as kind of a fun thing. Mike, let's play a little game. We don't typically go around the NFL very often, but I think we should at this point. Just for funsies.
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool with you?
Yeah, because I know we're done talking about the Jags and the Noles, and also we don't have Gator Talk because they played a cupcake this week. So
yeah, and it was on Sunday and nobody was watching. I got the notification that they won, or I saw a tweet that they won, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, no one's gonna watch college football on a Sunday. I'm sorry.
I don't even think it was on TV.
Yeah, I think it was probably on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, so let's play the 2-2 frauds and for reals.
Bringing it back. Bringing back a great segment from last year.
Frauds and for reals is exactly what it sounds like. We are going to go through each team that is 2-2 so far on the season, which is about like 15 of them.
Yeah, we counted. It's a lot.
And just quickly go through if we think that if they're a fraud or they're for real. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's just start with the AFC. Starting with the East, the only 2-2 team are the New York Jets. Frauds.
Frauds, easily. They got the Dolphins, the Packers, the Broncos, the Patriots next 4 games. I expect them to go 0-4, maybe 1-3. Next.
Cool. Heading on over to the North, we've got 3 teams there. Starting off with the Cleveland Browns.
So this is tough because they get Deshaun Watson back in week 11. Mm-hmm. If Jacoby Brissett holds serve, gets them to, let's say, 5-6. I'm sorry, even 7-4 or whatever, 7-3, whatever the record will be by then.
Yeah, 7-3 sounds right.
I mean, they got the Chargers this week, Patriots, at the Ravens, Bengals, and then Dolphins, Bills, Bucks, and then Deshaun Watson returns. So maybe not 7-3, but probably like 6-6, 6-5. I don't know what the exact math is there, but I mean, they got a winnable schedule down the stretch. So I'm gonna say they're for real.
I'll say they're for real as long as Chubb stays healthy. He's been
Chubb and Amari Cooper.
Yeah, the running back, but I mean they're the second most rushing yards per game in the NFL right now, and they're scoring a lot too. So if they can keep that up, they'll be fine. For reals. Next up, Bengals. I'm gonna say for reals, just slow start.
Yeah, I'm with you. For real, they play. This is a key matchup this upcoming week against the Ravens, who we'll be touching on in a second. The winner will be 3-2. The loser will be 2-3. I think the Bengals are for real as well.
Ravens. I say frauds.
Really?
Yep.
Why do you say that?
To be different.
I think they're for real.
I'm looking at their schedule. It's very favorable.
Now, that's one thing, and I think John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson will get their issues worked out. They should have beat Buffalo Sunday, but they didn't. So,
yeah.
I think the next 6 games are very winnable. After Cincinnati, though, they may lose Cincinnati, but they got the Giants, the Browns, the Bucks, the Saints, the Panthers, the Jags. 4 of those are probably marking them as a win. I'm sorry for anyone but Tampa or Jacksonville after Cincinnati.
Agreed. All right, so the AFC South, our division. Not even going to talk about us. It's okay.
Yeah, we think Jags. I'm high on the Jags still. Now, again, when I say for real and frauds, I'm just saying they're going to make a threat for the playoffs. I'm not saying
like these are Super Bowl contenders.
No, not even that. But I'm saying a threat. They're not like a lock for the playoffs because there's always obviously like a lot of 3-1 teams. 1-3 teams will get their heads out of their butts. Who knows? So we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. Tennessee Titans are the only other 2-2 team in our.
Man, I think they're frauds. I think they're frauds. Just because they have to face they have to face the top teams in other divisions that we don't play. Like they just played the Bills and they got absolutely smoked 2 weeks ago. Now, granted, they may have gotten things right, but they've won by a combined 9 points in those 2 games. They got the Commanders this week, and then they got the Colts again. Texans. Granted, next 3 games are easy.
I think their real test is when I see them
Kansas City, Denver, Green Bay, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. That 5-game stretch will decide the season for the Titans.
If they can come out 3-2 in that, I think they'll be okay. But I don't think they will.
No, I personally think they're frauds.
Yeah. Okay. So moving over to the NFC now. The NFC East has none, so we get to skip them.
Thank God.
NFC North has the Chicago Bears.
Frauds.
They have no quarterback.
No, I don't think they have no quarterback. They have no offensive system to work with this quarterback.
But it's more fun to say that.
No.
You know how many passing yards they are averaging a game?
Yes, I'm literally looking at it right now.
Dang it. 97 and a half.
Yeah.
What is this, 1947?
Wait, 97 and a half?
97 and a half.
Mine shows 117.8.
Well, yours is lying because I'm on the computer and
I'm on the phone.
I don't care. They are 31st in the
Either
league
way,
in scoring.
Under 120 yards is pretty pathetic. So
it is miserable. Like, all right, let me pull up yards per game and just see who the closest is. Oh, this is different looking. This is saying this is yards, passing yards per game. Okay, here we go.
Other one. Next one. There you go.
My bad. Okay, yards per game. 97.5. The next closest team is the Giants.
And
at
they're
140.
3-1 because the winner of the Giants and the Bears this past week is going to be 3-1, which is an embarrassment to the NFL. But it also means the NFL has some parity.
Yeah, it does. It does indeed. I mean, looking at their total passing yards, 390 yards on the entire season. That's one game for like Pat Mahomes. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's bad.
Anyway, yeah.
Frauds.
So frauds for real, or frauds for sure. Going to the NFC South, we've got two teams. First, we'll go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For real.
Yeah, for real.
Easy.
Tom Brady will get things together with his receivers. He hasn't really had a game yet with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones all together. So we'll see.
A revolving door of receivers for the Bucs
Tampa Bay I'm not worried about, especially in this easy division. It's turning out to be, I thought the Saints would be more competitive, but Jameis is hurt, so that's affecting things. So I kind of feel bad for Saints fans, but they don't have a first-round pick this year, so I kind of feel bad for them.
This is a fun one. The Atlanta Falcons are 2-2 right now. They are ahead of the Panthers and the Saints right now.
Frauds.
Frauds. Okay, walk me through it.
Marcus Mariota is their quarterback. Fraud. That's all I got to say. And they're not using Kyle Pitts. They drafted him at number 4 overall 2 years ago in 2021. How do you not use him? He has done nothing in terms of NFL production this year.
Let me actually clarify that because JJ was talking to me about this. Friend of the program, JJ. In Georgia, huge Falcons fan. It's not so much of Arthur Smith is not using him. He's using him. He's putting him in plays. Marcus Mariota just can't get him the football.
Okay, which then goes back to
sucks.
Which goes back to my first point. It's Marcus Mariota. You're not going to get anything with him.
They need Desmond Ridder, their third-round pick in the last draft from Cincinnati. They need to put him on the football field. What are you gaining from having Marcus Mariota?
They're trying to win games, man. They're trying to win games, even though they
that's
should.
That's not going to win you games. I mean, they're 2-2, but
they should really tank. But that's just me.
They beat a bad Browns team, and they caught Seattle. How many points they scored on Detroit was crazy.
Detroit needs to fire their defensive coordinator.
They do. But I mean, they've got the Falcons. I'm talking about now. They got the Bucs coming up this week. They're gonna get clapped. They got the 49ers. They're gonna lose. Bengals are gonna lose. They're frauds, but put in Ridder, man. Put in Ridder. I want to see him because what do young quarterbacks do, Mike? They go to the tight end.
Oh, they fail.
No, they lean on the tight end. That's a common trope. Anyway, the last 2-2 teams are going to be the entire NFC West. We're going to start at the bottom and make our way up. So this is, I don't know if it's alphabetical or what, but Seattle Seahawks.
Probably not alphabetical. There's probably some tiebreaker.
Yeah, probably some tiebreaker.
Seattle.
Fraud.
Geno Smith. Next.
Geno Smith is a...
he's playing better than Russell Wilson.
For
MVP. Yeah, okay. Give it a few weeks and then we'll see about that.
What do we say about Scott and Alex talk about on the Sports Bar Pod? September Heismans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's basically Geno Smith.
I mean, remember Russell Wilson was the MVP last year after 1 month, and we saw it happen.
Arizona Cardinals.
Fraud. I think Arizona is due for a disaster. I am not a fan of Kyler Murray. I definitely hate Cliff Kingsbury. I bet the under 8.5 on them. I hammered that. They have the Eagles coming up this week. Sure, Seahawks and the Saints, fine. They have the Vikings, Seahawks, whatever. Rams, Niners, Chargers, Patriots, Denver, Tampa Bay. Yeah, I don't think they win 8 games. They should fire their coach. Kingsbury is gone at the end of the year. I'm guaranteeing it. He's getting fired at the end of the year. I don't like the Cardinals.
I'll give them for reals just on the very edge. Fraud is very close. It is looming. It is in the back seat. But I'll give them for real just because
they're a joke. I think they're a complete disaster.
I don't think they're great, but
they're a train wreck waiting to happen.
Can we just briefly say that the sport is insane because J.J. Watt should not have been playing. The dude literally died and came back to life.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
That's a little wild.
But
we shouldn't be cheering that on. I'm just gonna say that.
Kyler Murray is not good. He is struggling. He is losing it. I don't know what he's thinking of video games all the time right now because he's not a good quarterback. I'm sorry.
72% completion percentage.
Yeah, when you're throwing
5 TDs, 2 picks.
Your farthest attempt is like 6-7 yards.
So is Trevor's.
Yeah, but I'm not saying Trevor's like playing. No,
Trevor doesn't have the contract that Kyler.
Yeah, he's also a rookie deal, and there's no clause in the contract saying you have to study the game plan or study your opponent. I'm not a fan of Kyler Murray. Or Cliff Kingsbury is also not a good coach. So,
well, it's either him or Colt McCoy, Trace McSorley.
They might be better with McSorley.
Jarrett Guarantano. Yeah, I don't
but
think
no,
so.
Everyone, mark my words, Cliff Kingsbury will be fired by the end of the year. So mark it down.
Oh gosh, I gotta get out my book. Next up is we'll just put them together because I think we're on the same page here. Rams and 49ers.
For real.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, the Rams, I'm gonna say are fraud.
Okay.
I think they're due for regression. That offense does not look good. It's Cooper Kupp
Stafford
or bust.
doesn't look good.
It's Cooper Kupp or bust. Yeah. And granted, Tyler Higbee looked pretty damn good last night, but
yeah, I think they're really feeling the offensive line struggles. They've had quite the revolving door.
And guess who comes to town next week?
Oh,
Dallas.
Boy, Dallas.
Micah Parsons is going to
Cowboys.
eat against that Rams offensive line. So Rams are probably still going to be fine, but man, I don't like their team. Their team is not good. They let go of Von Miller, who turns out to be a very big addition for Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So they let go of Odell Beckham. Who knows? They may re-sign him. Allen Robinson was a waste of money, $47 million, and he's caught in 6 balls. Nine catches. So, yeah.
Yeah, they've got, let's see, their offensive tackle in Tremaine Ankrum Jr. He's on IR. You've got their center, Coleman Shelton, and Brian Allen, both questionable with ankle and knee injuries, respectfully. You hate to see O-linemen go down, but Stafford is not.
Yeah, and they lost Whitworth to retirement.
Yeah.
So I think the Rams are possibly not going to make the playoffs because the NFC is actually more wide open than I originally thought.
I'll still say they're for real, just because.
Yeah, I'm on frauds for that one.
I'm looking at their schedule, and some of these teams should be cakewalks.
Should be.
Well, cool. That was fun. I mean, a little bit different. We don't really do that very often, and we do try and keep things local as much as we can, but you never know. There's always something out there that we can talk about. One last thing I wanted to touch on before we go, Mike, is I was sifting through my old notebook here, and I was looking at our guarantees from before the season back in episode 65. We're looking pretty good. Did you realize that you said Laviska Shenault would not be on the roster when the season started?
Yeah, baby.
And we chuckled at it at the time, but we never thought about the possibility of a trade. And
I thought I almost took it back, but I'm glad I stuck with it. I lowered my confidence in that, but I'm glad it happened.
Yeah. Skyler.
Oh, you want to know what his stats are for the year?
Oh, Visca?
Yeah.
It's going to be an anomaly because he had that one play, but...
Yeah, he had 2 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. That's his season stats.
Oh, that's his entire season?
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
He had 2 catches for 90 yards and 1 touchdown. And it was a 167-yard touchdown.
Well, that's not
And
great.
he's been inactive. No, he played this past Saturday. He had 1 rush for no yards. Yay. Thank you, Matt Rule.
Yeah, thanks.
You're also about to get fired, too.
Don't really care about you being here, a loser. Skyler did say that we were going to make the playoffs, so we can't really do anything with that. I'm looking at
What was your prediction?
turnovers. I had us at over 21 turnovers for the entire season. It looks pretty good right now.
We have 10.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 through 4, yeah, we're pretty much on track. Unless
we're on pace for like 40.
Yeah, we should be good to go there. You did also say that Trevor would have 30 TDs.
He's got 6, I think. 6 or 7.
I just had it up. Trevor Lawrence
8. Nice.
Okay, looking good. Looking good there. Rough game last week, but that's all right. Leading receiver would be Christian Kirk.
Spot on right now.
327 yards, leading the team. And Skyler had his crazy rushing touchdown things for Trevor. I don't think Trevor has any rushing touchdowns. No, he doesn't.
It's just James right now.
James Robinson's the only one on the team with rushing TDs with 3. So that about wraps things up for today. Mike, I did want to end, though, with a little Nerdy Nuts update. As you all know, that is our sponsor, Nerdy Nuts Peanut Butter and Almond Butter. They just released some fall flavors. What's the first thing you think of when you think of fall? Like flavored things. Pumpkin, right?
Pumpkin spice, yeah.
Yeah. Not that. That's not where they're going.
God,
they're not different.
Because they're not basic.
They're not basic. No, we've got Monster Mash, Moose on the Loose, Mr. Chippy, and Blueberry Streusel almond butter.
The one that
almond butter
piques my interest is the Moose on the Loose.
Moose on the Loose is, what does it sound like? Moose tracks.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It is white chocolate Nerdy Nuts peanut butter, layers of Ghirardelli chocolate, and topped with mini peanut butter cup morsels. Who wouldn't enjoy that? I mean, that sounds amazing. Monster Mash, I think, piques my interest. Not probably for me, but just by the aesthetics. It looks cool.
The Oreos drew me.
It is white chocolate peanut butter layered with chunks of Oreo, marshmallow fluff. I said pluff. Marshmallow fluff, and either green or purple sprinkles, and top it with an entire chocolate chip cookie and gummy worms.
That's
Holy shit. It's like a dirt cup.
I'll say it's like a dirt cup, and it's like a children's dream.
It looks really cool, too. The other two also, I did mention. You've got Mr. Chippy's peanut butter, which is just cookies and chocolate chips as well. And then the Blueberry Streusel almond butter. Yes, they have almond butter as well. That is going to be salted almonds with hints of blueberry crunch, swirled with white chocolate, dried blueberries, and topped with cinnamon streusel. Sounds amazing. Go check them out. They restock every Sunday night. They do still have their other flavors. It's not just the fall flavors. You can go out there and order whichever one you like. Just make sure you check on Sundays at 7 p.m. That is when the flavors drop. Mike, didn't you get the peanut butter spoon?
Yes, I did.
Did you get the big one?
The small one, the smaller one.
Peanut butter spoons are clutch because this is not your average peanut butter. This is peanut butter, as we already said, with all the ingredients. You're going to want to eat this with the spoon.
And not even that, it's also easier with the spoon to mix stuff because obviously some of it will come not as mixed as it should be, so you can use a spoon to mix things together.
It settles naturally, and that's just the way the peanut butter is
Thank you. That was the expression I was trying to think of.
Settles naturally, and you take your spoon and you get in there and you give it a good spin. You're just right back to normal. So other flavors they have, they've been restocking. They have carrot cake, another fallish one, brownie batter, maple walnut autumn pie. There's one for you for fall. Pumpkin spice, they do have it too. But be sure to check them out and use code DIMES10 to get 10% off your purchase. We appreciate all of you that have made purchases thus far. You are keeping us in business, basically. But for Mike Yaji and myself, Keith Manzi, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dimes on Duval. This has been episode 73, and we will catch you next time.
I still love you, Trevor Lawrence. Get better.